Tonight on Friday Night Fright Night, we're digging into one of the wildest horror comedies of the 90s, Idle Hands.
That's right, a movie where a possessed hand goes on a killing spree, and a stoner teen tries to stop it with weed, punk rock, and sheer dumb luck.
It's bloody, it's funny, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And it just might be one of the best horror comedies of its era. So roll it up, crank it loud. It's time to talk Idle Hands. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Friday Night Fright Night. I am GC from Face the Movies.
And I'm Lee from Cinema Whiplash. Tonight we're talking about Idle Hands, the 1999 horror comedy directed by Rodman Flender.
A cult film that mixes slasher gore with goofy stoner humor. Idle Hands is part Evil Dead 2, part Cheech Chong, and part MTV Late Night Fever Dream.
Yes, and we're gonna dive into the kills. It takes its place in '90s horror landscape and why it still has a cult following today.
Absolutely. And before we get started, guys, we're going to give you a spoiler disclaimer. Granted, this movie came out in 1999, but if for any reason you're waking up from a coma or you've been overseas and you just haven't had a chance to check this one out, we're going to start things spoiler free for everyone who hasn't seen it. But
Yeah, then we'll definitely we're gonna dive into the full spoilers later on, including the Hands rampage, the over-the-top kills, and the unforgettable ending. We'll give you a heads up before we dive in.
absolutely. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a little film synopsis. So, catch you guys up. I know it's been a long time since it came out. So, yeah, at least you have an idea of what movie we're working with here. Now, Anton Tobias is a lazy stoner whose hand becomes possessed and starts killing everyone around him. With the help of his undead best friends and his crush Molly, Anton has to find a way to stop his evil hand before it's too late and maybe save Halloween night.
Yes. So we're gonna get into the main cast and the characters. In this one, we got Devon Sawa. Most of you will remember him. He's the slacker teen with a possessed hand in the movie, and he's from obviously I think he's mostly known for Final Destination, but as a kid he was in Casper, he was in Wild America and The Little Giants, which I love personally.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We got Seth Green as Mick. He's Anton's wisecracking undead friend. Everyone knows Seth Green, I believe, from Austin Powers trilogy.
Yeah.
And he has, what's the name of that show that he does the
I'm
with the
Robot
dolls?
Chicken.
Robot Chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Can't Hardly Wait, all that good stuff. And we also have Elden Henson. And how do you pronounce his name in the movie? I heard him called like Panub, right?
Yeah, unless it's like nub, but the P is silent or something.
That's what I thought too, but then I did hear them say Panub. They don't really
Yeah.
say his name too much in the movie.
Yeah, they really
Uh,
don't.
and he's the other undead friend. He's equally useless. He's the one missing the head. And I mostly know him from the Mighty Ducks trilogy. He was one of the
Yeah.
Bash brothers, and he was also later on, more recently in the Daredevil series,
And
for
Hu- and
Marvel.
and Hunger Games. He actually plays
Oh
one of the
yeah,
people carrying the camera, but he's like mute in the movie.
right. Damn, I forgot that one.
Dude, when I saw him in there, I was like, look at this guy from Mighty Ducks to Hunger Games. Like that was
Yeah.
he did fantastic in that role.
Yeah, I'm glad he's still going. He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah, man.
And we have the lovely Jessica Alba as Molly. She's Anton's crush, and she's caught in this madness. And Jessica Alba, I guess I know her from Sin City, as I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
What else is she really known for? Blue Crush or something like that?
Blue Crush, the movie Honey, where she's like a dancer,
Oh, right, the
and a ton of
dancer.
all. I mean, dude, she's been in so many things.
Oh yeah. And then we also have probably my favorite character in the movie, Jack
Yeah,
Noseworthy as Randy. He's the heavy metal loving neighbor. Damn, I know I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, but I can't remember. Do you have any in mind? Because I can't remember where he's from.
man. You know what? Let me see real quick. Let me look the. If you want, do Vivica right now, and then we'll circle back
Okay.
to Randy.
And Vivica A. Fox is Debbie LeCoeur. She's a priestess trying to stop the evil of the dead hand, and we'll definitely dive into her character because I have a few things. I'm a fan of hers, and we know her from Kill Bill,
Yeah.
and I think that's what she's mostly known for. But she's did a bunch of stuff in the '90s too,
Dude, she was in Independence Day. She was Will
right?
Smith's love interest, the erotic
The
dancer.
stripper,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, there we go, the stripper.
yeah.
And I did look up Jack Noseworthy, and dude, I can't believe we missed this. Shame on us. He was Baby Bear in Event Horizon.
That's right.
I
That's
know, man.
right.
That like he has a ton of movies that he's done. Like a
You know, I
ton.
confuse him sometimes with the dude that we another episode that I recommend you guys check out that we did the Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. Uh,
Oh yeah,
I
that's right.
like I always feel like he was in that movie, but he's not. But I confuse him with the guy that plays I forgot his name now in the movie, but the blonde guy with the long hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I confuse them both, but equally good actor. Underrated. He did a lot of stuff in the '90s, early 2000s. But I personally haven't seen him around lately. But hopefully he's out there doing his thing.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've always found him to, and all, even in the smallest roles that he does, he always does great. I am seeing he was in Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. So that's one
Oh,
I have
okay.
to check out again. But yeah, man, he does such a great job. So it's pretty awesome to kind of see him in this one. I think he killed it. He was funny as hell. Um,
Yeah, he's like the '80s
yeah.
rocker that I guess by '99 felt kind of older, but it wasn't really that long ago at that time. Now it is, but I was watching the movie like, oh, the '80s wasn't that like 10 years or less depending on the year, but yeah, it was cool. He's a good character in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. And we have a ton of supporting guests. I mean, not guests, but cast members. And we won't get into them, but we one noteworthy supporting cast member does a cameo in here, which we'll talk about a little later, which was a ton of fun to see him in here. And at first glance, you don't recognize him because it happened so fast, but we will get into it. But that's pretty
Yeah,
much like the main cast you see throughout the movie. So for you guys that haven't seen this in a long time, to kind of give you guys that visual and all that good stuff. But we're gonna jump in and I mean dive into this freaking
let's do
19
it.
yeah 1999 gem. So Lee, I wanted to ask you, man, for Idle Hand, do you think this is more of a horror movie with comedy or a comedy with a sprinkle of horror?
Yeah, the latter. It's definitely a comedy with a little bit of horror. Even the
Yeah.
horror moments are not very horrifying. They're meant to be fun. Um, Even there's a lot of scenes in this that are just like even the opening sequence when the whole look under the bed thing. In a horror movie, that would have been a scary moment, but in this one, you have like comedians playing the parents, and there's a goofiness to it. So even though it turns a little violent for sure, I'm gonna definitely say that this is definitely a comedy with a little bit of horror sprinkled into it. What about yourself?
Dude, I think the same thing, man. This movie is just to me was just straight up stoner goofiness. There's not a moment in there where it's scary at all or you get creeped out. It's weird, right? Because it's like for it to be labeled to have that horror like label to it, but it's not whatsoever.
Yeah,
Even watching this in high school, dude, I would think I saw this around maybe when I was around 16 or so, and yeah, not once ever got creeped out. This was just straight up. If anything, it's a stoner comedy with like a very tiny hint, like a tiny little splash of I guess horror or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's pretty much what it is. And I mean, if for all of you that remember going to Blockbuster back in the day, if you were looking up this movie, it would be in the comedy section. I don't think they threw this one in the horror
Yeah,
section.
it'd be random. It's like you see Hellraiser, Friday the 13th, Idle Hands. You're like, what the
Right.
hell? It's so good, man. But dude, do you remember when you watched this movie? Like, did you rent it? Did you see it in theaters? Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, I do remember. This is a great time in my life going to the movies, still having that, being young enough to like just enjoy I used to go see everything, I'm like very little movies that got seen in theaters. I would go check them out. Talking about another comedy like Half Baked, I saw in theaters, and
Yeah.
I'm like one of four people that saw in theaters because I looked it up and this movie had a 25 million budget, which is not bad for a comedy. It's pretty good, and we got it. Later on, we'll talk about how really good the practical effects in this movie are. Um, but it made 4 million bucks worldwide. Like it bombed completely, and this is why I think this movie is like the definition of cult. But but yeah, my first time was going to see it in the theaters back in '99, and I bought it on DVD when it came out, and it's the exact same DVD that I still own to this day. I haven't
Dude,
upgraded yet.
I love that, man. It looks like it's in mint condition. For you guys listening, yeah, he was showing us the DVD case, and I mean that thing looks pristine. I have the Blu-ray, the Scream Factory one, but I
Oh,
kept
awesome.
the authentic
Yeah.
original because I know the new one looks kind of cool, but yeah, I kept the original one. And
Yeah,
again,
you
for you
gotta
guys,
go with that one. And
yeah,
it's you know
man.
what's funny, dude? I bought this when it came out, right? So originally the hand was just like this. Then they changed it into a zombie hand later on with the releases, even on
Oh yeah,
DVD.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
'cause yeah, mine is a regular hand.
I wondered because when I was trying to make the thumbnail and I was trying to look for a few images and stuff, and I came across the normal hand and then I came across the zombie one, and I was wondering to myself, I was like, I wonder if somebody photoshopped their hand in it or something. But that's kind of cool to see that the DVD
Yeah.
has the normal hand and then the Blu-ray has the zombie one.
Yeah, I wanna say theatrically, I can't remember the poster. Oh, yeah, I think it was like a drawing, it was pretty cool, and, like,
Yeah,
you see, like, a weird hand, it almost has, like, a Freddy look to it. But yeah, the DVDs from day one, it was just a hand, and if you really look at it, it kinda seems a little plain because like, it just looks like a regular hand ripping the poster.
yeah.
So I think adding the zombie hand makes more sense to give it more of even though you do eventually see the hand turn kinda zombie-ish like that too, so it makes sense. But yeah, man, they switched it up.
Yeah, they I know the image that you're talking about, it's like a stick figure, and I know they used that image, I think, for the soundtrack cover. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm.
I think it was for the soundtrack cover.
Yeah, I like
W
that one too. I'm
Yeah, that
surprised Shop Factory didn't add that one instead of
yeah,
the
that was
original DVD one.
yeah, that was an interesting move, how they just went with, like, a whole redesign because they made the if you like, when you look at the redesign, it looks a lot more, like, it looks
Like,
punk rock, but it also makes it look more horror based.
yeah,
So
it has
it's
like an Evil Dead vibe to it a
yeah, it
little bit,
does.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely does. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
cool though. I do like it. I never upgraded. I want to eventually, but at this point, I guess, wait for the inevitable 4K of it. Um,
I
but
wonder if it'll ever come out. I mean, the Blu-ray's a little dark, but it still looks really good. I mean, you can't the special effects held up pretty good. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit
yeah.
later in the episode, but no complaints on my end, man. And now I do want to say, man, with this, so first reactions, right? You said you saw in theaters, and you were saying you were like one of four people in there. How did you feel? Did you feel like it was kind of like dumb fun? Did you think it was an underrated genius type movie, or did you just full blown enjoy it, loved it? You're like, man, I can't wait to watch this again.
Yeah, I had a blast with it. I mean, in '99, starting high school, ninth grade. This movie was like made for my friends and I. We went to see it, and everyone loved it, and I remember everyone buying it when it came out on DVD, and no, it was fun, dude. Like it has its cheesiness to it for sure, but it's such a fun cast
Yeah.
of people that were really famous at that time. Some of them were coming up more than others. Like we said with Devon Sawa, he hadn't done Final Destination. Yeah, this was a year before, but he was coming off of being like a child star, with Casper especially, and like I said, Little Giants, and the ladies loved him in that movie he did with Jonathan Taylor Thomas at the time. He was popular too in Wild America, which I never seen, but I know
Oh,
the
dude,
girls loved it.
it's so good, man. I love that movie. Like, I
Uh,
hope they do a 4K for it or something. It's based on a true story too
oh yeah, I never
about
got
the
to see it because
brothers.
oh yeah, I mean, I thought it was for that audience, but yeah, man, if it's good, it's never too late to check it out. I'll check it out.
Dude, it's fun. I mean, it's a serious movie. It's not like a kid one because it's just based on the photographer, or no, I think he was a documentarian for National Geographic. And it shows like when him and his brothers went out and did the first, like, he did his first documentary and it got bought out and stuff, and I guess he got hired by, I believe, National Geographic. So highly recommend it, man. It's so much fun, and it's really beautiful. Like, you see nature and all that. It's really beautiful.
Awesome. No, that's on my list now for sure.
Yeah, dude. Man, I mean, this movie, I remember I remember renting it at the little video store that we used to go to down the street. Because for anybody that doesn't know, give you a
Yeah.
little context. Me and Lee, if you haven't already heard this before in other episodes, I've known Lee since I was 16 and I'm pushing 38 now. So you could imagine I met Lee when I believe I was either in ninth or 10th grade in high school. And Lee was like 2, 3 years older than me. And
Yeah.
we used to live not too far from each other, but we had a group of friends, mutual friends, and we'd frequent the video store across the street. Very
Dude,
small
yeah,
little.
for you it was across the street. How awesome. It was like right there. I had to drive to my mom had to take me, but my mom loved renting movies too, so she would take me a lot. And we had other
Yeah,
video stores by our house too that I would go to. I had one that I used to walk to that was about 3, 4 blocks away. But yeah, that one was awesome, man. It's called Variety, or we
variety.
used to
Yeah,
say it in
yeah.
Spanish, Variety. So
Yeah,
and
that's
it
what I used
was
to call it all the time. I
yeah.
used to call it variati. And dude, speaking of video stores, I know where you lived, there used to be like a Kmart, and in that plaza there used to be a Blockbuster
Yeah.
not too
Yeah.
far from you, literally a few minutes away.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah, dude, I mean that I remember renting it from there and I watched the hell out of that movie. I was just like, it was so much fun. I was around, I think it's like 16 at the time, and I was just loving it, man. Like the music, the cast, it was
yeah, it
just
was
so much
perfect
fun.
timing
Yeah.
for sure.
And which I don't know if I've told you this, but one of the main incentives was to watch it was because I briefly grew up with Jessica Alba. I don't know if I ever told you this. So my grandfather used to work for her grandfather. He owned this factory back in California, and my grandfather worked for him. And Jessica Alba and I were kids. She was a few years older than me, but we used to take karate classes in the same place. And I
Oh
had the
man, I don't remember. Vaguely sounds familiar, but yeah, I really have forgotten that. That's crazy. Yeah,
dude,
cause
yeah,
that's right. You were in California first when you were younger.
yeah, man. And dude, I had the biggest crush on her in karate class. And
Yeah.
when I found out as I got older, I completely forgot. And then my grandfather was like, "Oh, he saw her on TV when she was on the show Dark Angel."
Oh
And he
yeah,
was like, "Oh, that's Jessica. You don't remember her?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you used to take karate classes with her." And everything came flooding back. And yeah, I remember seeing her picture in the cover for this movie and for Idle Hands. And I was thinking, I was like, dude, no way. This is amazing. And
that's
st
awesome
yeah, man. I thought it'd be a fun little tidbit to share with this movie.
for sure. Yeah,
But yeah, man, I loved it. I absolutely loved this movie in high school.
yeah.
Now, oh no, go ahead. I think you were gonna ask
No,
me.
no, I was gonna ask you if this movie compares to other horror comedies like Evil Dead 2 or Shaun of the Dead, because this X kind of has that vibe, with these other horror comedies.
I think um I think it holds up pretty well, especially for the time. Um I mean, like with Shaun of the Dead in particular, right? One thing that these two movies have in common is that they don't take themselves serious at all, but then also the soundtrack, right? They have a fantastic soundtrack. They don't take themselves serious. The special effects are fantastic, and I think it's just a load of fun. Like it's Shaun of the Dead would be considered a horror comedy, but there's nothing horror about it to me. Like it's just pure fun. Even when obviously a lot of the key characters are getting killed off or something, it's still one of those like you're not like, oh no, this is horrible. It's just kind of like there's always something funny happening. So I think it compares pretty good with with those different horror comedies. But what about you?
Yeah, I think it stands with them, but I think they're pretty different in the sense that this is more of a teen comedy with horror. Those
Yeah,
movies are not, those are more like adult. Shaun of the Dead even has a little bit more of I don't want to say heart, but it has like a little bit of more of a drama towards the end with when he loses his stepdad and realizes that his stepdad is he loves him and it hurts him and stuff like that. This movie doesn't go anywhere in that sense. It just has fun the whole way, like you said. It's just nonstop, just goofiness. There's a lot of questions to be had about what's going on in this neighborhood. But yeah, I think it's just a plain fun movie, and I think it stands with those movies, but it's different in its own way.
yeah, and I think the big difference is that with this one, it's obviously a stoner comedy, but then with Shaun of the Dead, they're always having like beers and they're drinking, so it's more paced for that. But then it's true, like you said, like it has a ton of heart. I mean, with the dad, spoiler alert, the dad in Shaun of the Dead, Sean's dad, or stepdad, because I know he doesn't want to acknowledge it, but he passes away. His best friend turns into a zombie and all that. So it makes you feel like with this one. Not once did I feel bad for anybody. It's just
Right.
it's so funny, and it's just even when bad stuff is happening, you're just laughing. And I think it did a very fantastic job being what it is, which is a horror parody. So I think it really did well leaning into that.
Yeah, I mean, and he kills his friends, his best friends in this movie, and you never think, oh man, I can't believe he killed them because it happens fast,
Yeah.
and it's funny when he kills them, when he kills the bigger dude and he throws the thing and it cuts off his head. Which we're talking about the effects, they're really good there too. So yeah, it never takes itself seriously. It's always all in good fun.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I mean, it's definitely lasted the test of time. I think with those special effects for this film, it's incredible for 1999 for what they did with it. That the special effects are still better than a lot of modern movies, which is surprising for being a stoner comedy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, very limited CGI. I mean, it's
yeah,
mostly practical effects. There's a lot of stuff with the head stuff we get into that's really cool. You can tell it looks a little animatronic when they're carrying it. When they put it down, they'll cut, and then you can tell they put the actor like under the table and stuff, and then he has his head out. But it works, man. It looks great.
yeah, when Seth I was gonna say Seth Rogen, when Seth Green takes Elden Henson's head after he's already a zombie and he tries to put it on, and you see the animatronic. Like you see when the head's lying sideways on the
Yeah,
kitchen island. That's when I could tell. I was like, oh yep, because you see the mouth, like he's talking, but the mouth is doing that animatronic thing where it's not at all synchronized with what he's saying, which
yeah.
was pretty funny. But speaking of stoners, right? How do you think Seth Green and Elden Henson's zombie sidekicks add to the film?
I mean, they're the I think what brings the most comedy to the movie. They're the funny ones.
Yeah.
They bring him over to the house to he wants to buy weed and they mess with him. And they're like, "Oh, go get the girl," and he gives. But they're good friends. Like, "Hey, man, you want some pants?" Make. But they take care of him at the same time. Um, but I love the fact that the whole thing. I was like, because I have forgotten. I was like, do they explain why they become zombies, or it's just like never explained? And it's a super funny explanation. It's just like, oh yeah, we were gonna go to heaven, but it was too far, man. So we just came back.
Dude,
That's it. That was the explanation.
I love that scene because you could tell with those little with those little quotes and little comments that they make, you could tell how big like lazy stoners they were. Where he's like, "Well, what happened?" He's like, "Huh, it was too far." And then they kind of chuckle, and it's
Yeah.
like, "Well, dude, like seriously, you could have gone to heaven." But I love that. I think Seth Green and Eldon Henson's characters were kind of the heart of the film. They were just these two like sweet, innocent friends. Like even when Seth Green, when they go get the first aid kit for
Right.
Devon Sawa's character, when he cut off the evil hand finally, he goes to get the first aid and he comes back. He's like, "Hey, we're back, and we got you the non-ouchie band-aids or something like
Yeah.
that." And it was just so funny how much he cared for his friend that he was like, "Oh, he didn't want him to feel bad or anything." Or
Yeah. They
when
s- they they stopped by for some burritos, but the microwavable type, and that was a funny scene too because they all this is a part already when he cuts off his hand and puts it in the microwave to kill it, and he leaves, and when they come back they open the microwave to make burritos, and the hand just just comes out and busts out the window, and they're like, what the hell was that? And they're like, oh
yeah,
well.
they
He's like,
just
should
keep
we clean the microwave? And he's like, do you want me to clean the whole house? I'm not the maid. And they just throw the burrito in the
dude
microwave full of blood.
Dude, so lazy these guys. I think the
Super
only
lazy.
and it's funny because then they do try to help, but like in the laziest way possible. But one scene I do want to talk about with these guys that I thought was absolutely hilarious was when Eldon's character, he's trying to help Anton's dad, because he sees his body on the floor and he's checking his pulse, and he tries to give him CPR, and then Anton runs over. He's like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's my dad." And it was so damn funny because it's like, dude, he's giving him CPR, and Anton
He's
is
like hitting
just so,
him.
yeah, he's just so he's just like punching him almost like in the chest. And Anton's character was, dude, so funny. His reaction is like, dude, he's giving him CPR, like relax. But the way he says it, he's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's my dad.
Yeah, they're like nice dudes, but I think the movie has this thing, and that's and it comes with the title of the movie, Idle Hands, that they're just but the three steer guys are super lazy guys. I mean, we see the opening shot of Devon Sawa with, by the way, I don't know why he sleeps in the attic because it looks like it's a big house and the parents have their room and he sleeps in the attic. And this is not like Brain Scan with a badass attic or whatever. This is like
Yeah.
a little attic. They show a little bit of a mess and he's sleeping on a piece of like a mattress on the floor. That's all you ever see of it. You don't really get to see much inside this attic. So I was always wondering, like, why the hell does he sleep there? Like, it feels like, why wouldn't he have his own room and in a house that probably has like 4 bedrooms? Like, he just
Well,
sleeps
dude,
up there.
I mean, that was the thing back then, man. Like in the 90s, 80s, I even think early 2000s, like it was just like the Hey Arnold effect where it was so cool to have either a bedroom in the basement or in the attic. Like that was have you noticed a lot of the movies back then, especially these teen movies, it was always kind of the case. I mean, like we have like you were talking about Brain Scan, where his room essentially is like the attic. Like it's this
Yeah.
massive attic, and at this one, it's true. It's like the only time they show anything was like behind his bed, where you see like his stereo setup and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
I think the way the room looked that way, all kind of like pretty basic, was because it was kind of showing his personality, where he was just kind of like lazy and all he cared about was smoking and watching TV. So he didn't really decorate or anything. He kind of just he'll fall
Yeah, it's
asleep.
like the crappiest attic I've seen in a movie. Like that's why it's like
Yeah,
with all these other movies, they usually put the kids in the attic, but it's because it's awesome. It's full of posters, and they
yeah,
have like Brain Scan is awesome, right? He's got that great chair. He's got a badass TV. This one, he's just like a little mattress on the floor. But it's true. That's a good point. He just doesn't care. He's all he cares about is smoking weed and going downstairs and watch MTV all day, and that's it.
yeah, dude. Watching freaking Rob Zombie music videos and all sorts of stuff. But I mean, I still thought I was like, man, I know growing up around that time, I was like, man, I wish I could have a bedroom in an attic. Like that'd be so damn cool.
Yeah,
But with air conditioning, because it didn't look like he had. It looked like it was not even fully built out. Like I was like, damn, that place looks dusty as hell, man. Like he's just sleeping up there, getting
yeah,
pneumonia.
yeah.
Dude, so because I wanted to ask you, well, obviously we just covered like Seth Green and Eldon's characters being like sidekicks, and we talked about that. Now, what? How did you feel about Devon Sawa like playing that stoner? Do you think he did pretty good, or do you feel like somebody else could have played that role a little bit better?
No, I think he was great in the role. I think he was good in it. I believed him as a lazy stoner. I thought
Mm.
he brought a pretty good performance with the hand. He constantly has to be moving it, when he's doing all these movements with the hand and um and he played it just right. I think it was good casting. I think this movie is very well cast. There's only a couple that I was like um we'll talk about it later, but that I was just a little iffy about. But I think the main cast is really good, and I mean I'm sure they could find somebody else in around that time that could fit the role well, but I can't imagine anybody else in the role. It's 25 years later, and I think it's perfect for him. It's one of the roles I remember him from the most,
Yeah.
outside of the ones that we've mentioned earlier in the cast. But yeah, did you like him in it, or you had someone else in mind when you saw it?
Dude, I thought honestly, I thought he did fantastic. I think playing a stoner, he had a lot of range with that. He did great, like you mentioned, with the possessed hand. One scene that really stuck out to me, well, two scenes that really stuck out to me that I thought were just hilarious was when he hears the sound in his house and he mutes the TV and then you still hear his dog breathing loud, and he puts his hand on his like
Yeah,
nose to mute it, and he starts tapping him on the nose. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that dynamic between him and the dog when he gets scared, runs into his bed under the covers and he calls
yeah,
his dog was like a very sweet thing, a very adorable thing where it's like, oh man, like he's a good kid. He's just a little stoner. He loves his dog. He,
yeah.
he cares about him. But
But that
that
damn hand messes up the cat.
yeah, obviously you could tell the hand didn't like cats when he launches them out through the window. But that scene I thought was awesome. It was funny as hell. And then the scene where after he kills his friends and he goes to Jessica Alba's character's house, and the hands kind of try to pull him to the house to ring the doorbell, and you see him fall down over the like the little rail on her porch porch. I don't know why completely saying it wrong, but I meant to say porch. And he rings the doorbell and then he falls backwards into the bushes. and obviously that was him. That wasn't a stunt double, but the way he did it so stiff was amazing. Like that scene was so damn good. I just I don't know if they had him like on a pulley or something where they just pulled him up, because even the way he stands up when he goes over it, he just stands up like fully straight. Like
Yeah,
it's not like,
it's a comical. It looks comical. Yeah,
yeah, kind of
it's
like The
well done.
Mask,
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
like Jim Carrey style. So I thought he did amazing with his body movements with the hand, and he really killed it. Like that was really impressive.
Yeah, and he's doing it throughout. I mean, to the extent of that scene where he goes inside and he starts to make out with her, and he like
Yeah.
grabs her butt, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't think you had that in you," and it's the hand, and when they're making out, like the hand is being too rough on her, and he's like tying it up, and he bites into it, and he does. Nah, his physical comedy in this was good. You know, he did a good job.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. Cuz I mean, I can't think of from the top of my head of like comedies that he's done like that. I'm not sure if he was trying to transition into comedies more. Cuz then obviously Final Destination comes around and it's a totally different film, even though he kind of plays a similar character in Final Destination that he does in this one, besides being a stoner. Because this entire time in this movie, in Idle Hand, he's very frantic and he's freaking out while his friends are just kind of like goofing off and stuff. And this
Yeah.
entire time he's just freaking out. But if you take the stoner element off of it, it's almost like he's playing the same character in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, he's not as goofy, obviously, in Final Destination, but
Yeah.
he is a little bit frantic and
Yeah.
nervous and stuff like that. So he probably brought a little bit of that into the next year with Final Destination.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Dude, what'd you think about the kills? Because I know that, dude, they were over the top. They were a little ridiculous. How'd you feel about them?
I mean, right off the bat, you get I thought they were fun. I thought they did a good job. I like the under the bed thing in the beginning when the parents get killed. When they finally pull the mom under, they just throw like this bucket of blood. It's like blood everywhere. And I was like, okay, they're starting off, pretty good. I mean, I think I want to say my favorite kill is when Eldon or Panub or however you pronounce his name in the movie, when they cut it, he cuts his head off. He's like, "I'm sorry, man." He's like, "Oh, just leave me alone. I'm out of here." It's just the way they played it together, and he's just running up the stairs, and he's like, "What does he say?" He says, "Oh," because when the head falls down and he stops it, the guy he says something and then he dies, But I forgot what it was. It's like, "Oh shit" or something like that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
thought that kill was great.
Yeah, no, I think they were all. I wish they would have shown Seth Green when he like when after he breaks the beer bottle, because then you
Yeah.
just hear it cuts to him screaming. But that one was really good. I love that effect. Like it looks so damn good. I think in certain shots you still see some of the beer moving around,
Yeah, yeah,
and
and you hear it for sure.
yeah,
There's the sound design is great.
yeah, and then in other scenes, I noticed there wasn't any liquid in it. So, I don't know what happened there with that editing part, but I thought it was great. Like, I think the kills were very clever, and I think the fact that the fact that he cut off his head, um, led to a lot more opportunities for these comedic opportunities when he's trying to eat the
Yeah.
burrito, when
Oh
he
yeah,
keep
that's great. Love
yeah.
it. No, there's a lot of yeah, the when he's eating the burrito and it comes out through his neck and he's like, I'll take care of it and they put tape around it. One of my favorite scenes is it's a small little thing, but when Devon Sawa's Anton, he's about to cut off his hand. I love when Seth Green comes in with the little electric cutter. He's like, "Look at me, I'm Leatherface." Like that's a little quote that I've been saying since the movie came out. I'll say it once in a blue about something stupid I have, and I'll be like, "Look at me, I'm Leatherface." I always that's like the best most
Dude, that was so good when he does it, because even his body language too, when he comes, he's all like, look at me, I'm Leatherface. And it was just so damn funny. Like, I love that. That whole scene is funny when he has Eldon's like have him bite down on the hand. Like, it was
yeah.
so ridiculous,
So
dude. It
cool.
was,
Yeah, just the effects all around, man, and the comedy that goes on in all those scenes. Even the scene before it when he's trying to use the bagel cutter, and he's like, "Dude, that thing doesn't even cut my bagel," and he's
yeah,
like, and it just breaks. It's there's some good moments there between the three of them. I think they really make the movie. They have like the Three Stooges thing to it.
it was, yeah, three Stone Stooges. Like, I
Yeah,
honestly think that if they would have incorporated somebody else, it would have not been as funny. If they would have took one of them out, it would have not worked. I just think that especially during that time, Seth Green was just, I mean, he was everywhere, right? So you add Seth Green, you have Devon Sawa, which is like the little heartthrob, during that time.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think putting them all together, especially Elden, like Elden, he's such a funny guy. Like you could tell he's such a good dude in real life, but him coming from, Mighty Ducks and then seeing him in these type of roles kind of just shine and just being so casual because you could tell his comedy, he doesn't force it. He just seems naturally funny. And obviously with Seth Green, he's just such a smartass that really
Yeah, yeah.
shines for his character. But dude, do you think that if they made this movie today, right? I mean, obviously this movie fully encapsulates the 90s. I mean, you have the soundtrack. I mean, you have the hair, Jessica Alba's hairstyle, which I hated, by the way.
What
But
was
I
that like
mean,
a? Was it called like a pixie cut or something like that? I
kind
forgot what
of.
it was called. It's
Yeah,
kind of like a pixie cut.
it was. It was just kind of weird because in the front it's like brushed down, like it's flat in the front, and then in the back it's like very poofy.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of, I don't know if you remember the movie Mars Attacks,
Yeah.
where with the alien, he gets the girl with the blonde hair, like he has her in this thing, and like she kind of had a similar haircut.
Yeah, I
But
know what you're talking about. I think it's on the cover too of the VHS
y-
or DVD or whatever.
yeah, that's the one, yeah. And I don't know, I thought, like, I mean, I think this movie encapsulated the entire era perfectly. But I feel like if they were to do it today, it would definitely not be as funny. I feel like it would be a little more like they would try too hard. It would feel more like an Adam Sandler movie uh, than what this was back then. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think like a lot of the movies we tend to talk about, they become cult movies. I think it's a product of its time. I think the
Yeah,
stars align for things like this, and whether the movie's good or not doesn't matter. What I mean by is that it just these were the actors that we had at the time, and it just the script and it worked for the times that we were just living in at the time. I do know that Seth Green wanted a legacy sequel for this movie. He's spoken about it, but it never happened, and there is some rumors that they were gonna go the remake route, but I don't know. I don't think it's necessary to remake this movie. This movie, sure, it's like 26 years old now, but I think it still stands up pretty well. I think it could be funny to a new generation. I mean, there's gonna be people that watch it and say it's goofy, it's corny, whatever, but I think it's a fun movie. I think the new stoners of the days will probably enjoy it too, and with your friends and stuff. So no, I don't think they should remake it. I think if you do a legacy sequel, these guys are a little bit older now, and I just don't see where you would go with it. As you know, that at the end, the guys end up taking the trip to heaven, anyways.
yeah,
So without them, I mean, they could come back as the guardian angels and see where this guy's at in his life as an older guy. But I think it might be a bummer. It might be a little depressing, a la the new Indiana Jones. Like seeing him so old and depressed in the movie just bummed me out. So I was like,
yeah.
let's keep the good memories, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's true. When they die, when Seth and Eldon's characters die, they do come back as his guardian angels. Because obviously they were like, oh, we're gonna be. Our job is to kind of watch over you and make sure you don't revert to your evil ways. So that's the one thing that they might be able to pull something off. Maybe, I mean, obviously we see in Anton's character evolve to not wanting to be a stoner anymore and kind of have a little more ambition. He has a girlfriend now, so it would be interesting to see if they were to do like such legacy sequel where maybe his kid gets possessed, his hand gets possessed or something, and they could go that route, and then the friends come back as kind of the guardian angels trying to help somehow. But I from what I am reading, because after us discussing it just now, I did remember that Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things,
Mm,
he's actually reteaming with Billy Brike and Jason Reitman to do the remake for Sony for Idle Hands. So they're actually writing the reimagining, apparently.
mm.
And apparently Finn is like a massive fan of the film, so we'll see how that goes. But I don't know, man. Like I'm nervous when it comes to that stuff because some of these movies are like they just mean a lot to me, and and I know they mean as much to you. So to kind of see somebody come in and especially not growing up during that time and not understanding that type of like lifestyle that we had to write
Yeah.
something, but
No, I mean, I think it's cool that he's a younger guy that likes the movie. That's great.
yeah,
Which, but at the same time, I know that he recently this year directed a horror movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I know I haven't heard good things from it, and that already puts me on like, I'm not sure if. And then if he directs it when and stars in it, I just don't see the need for it. I really don't. I mean, the only thing good that it could do for it is bring a new audience to this one.
yeah,
People being like, "Oh, I've never seen the original. Let me check it out before I see the new one." I don't see it being like a hit. It might even be a straight to streaming, considering that
yeah.
this movie didn't make the big bucks back in the day. But it's the cult status definitely it's become a lot bigger, and I can see why they want to kind of redo it. But hopefully, if they do, they do it right, and if not, it gives it attention. But I think it's good as it is.
Well, it is interesting because, like a lot of other cult classics, this movie, I mean, like you said earlier in the beginning, this movie bombed in theaters, right? So it bombed
Yeah,
in theaters, but then apparently, like, it exploded with VHS, DVDs, like late night TV. So that's
yeah,
really where it cemented it as a cult status. So who knows, man? I mean, maybe if they do that reimagining, it might bomb. And then in a few years down the road, it'll become like a cult classic as well, especially a lot with the newer generation if they tap into that market with like maybe with they start obviously with smartphones and stuff. Because back then, one thing I appreciated with this movie, like in the school dance, for example, you see that scene where there's not a single camera, not a single phone, everybody's just being goofy and hanging out. So that really resonates with us. So in this reimagining, I can imagine if they were to do a similar scene, people are going to be taking selfies and
yeah.
recording stuff and all that. So kind of make it more
Yeah,
relatable.
like I always say, I kind of feel like sometimes if you remake a movie, you can always just make it back in those days.
Yeah.
Like if they're saying, "Oh, you can never remake," and I don't want them to, but if you wanted to remake Home Alone, you can't remake Home Alone now because of the kid would just use a cell phone, or there's just they'll have a tracking on him on his phone.
Yeah.
There you just, but then you could also say, well, there's this new Home Alone. You know what? We're even gonna go even back, and we're gonna say it takes place in 1985 or something. I know the first one's from 90, but let's go even more, and you can still remake it. If you want to remake this movie, have it take place in 1999, 1998, and you could recreate this whole MTV era, which is dead now anyways. It's going to be different. The
Yeah.
music is different. You could bring all those elements back. I'm not saying do a shot by shot, but you can make it original, but also if you're going to remake it, add a lot of little sprinkled things from back in the day. So just have it take place in the 90s. If you have it take place now, it
Oh,
just wouldn't work.
yeah, they could, I mean, totally make it a timepiece. I mean, they definitely can. I mean, Blink 182 is still together and they're still playing in concerts and stuff. So they could come up with a new song for the movie. I mean,
You
obviously
mean The
time.
Offspring?
Well, no, Blink 182 was also they did
Well, I know,
they
but I mean, The Offspring is the band playing in the gym. I thought they had a bigger, they have a bigger cameo
Oh, no, yeah, them
than
too. I
Blink.
mean, yeah, and I think they're still together, right?
Yeah, no, I
Or
saw them live last year.
okay, so yeah, so I
Yeah, they're
mean,
still around.
dude, they could still bring, the Offspring, Blink 182 and just kind of have them maybe they could have Tom DeLonge do another cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, they could definitely pull that off. I think the only difficulty, right? Because one thing that a lot of people may not know, right, with Seth and Eldon's characters, with Mick and Peanut, I think that's probably what it was, Peanut. But so they improvise majority of their stoner banter in the movie, where they're just kind of talking crap and stuff. That was all improvised, and I think that's what probably made it even funnier and more natural. So if they were to do like a reimagining, I wonder if they would go that route to whoever plays those characters, if they do have those characters in the movie, if they're gonna kinda do the same or it's gonna be more scripted.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who knows? Nah, you would think they'd find the right actors to be able to do that, because I think that really helps.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming out, and then you get gold. So hopefully so. But yeah, I I disagree with it. I think they should leave it alone. But I
Yeah,
guess we'll
no,
see what
same.
happens in the future.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting of all the movies out there that they could remake or reimagine or whatever that they would pick, like this one, because nobody talks about Idle Hands. I don't know anybody that's just, like, randomly talks about it or really I mean, besides you, the only person I know that quotes it. So so it's just one of those things, man. But, I wanted to jump into something real quick because I was going over my notes and stuff, and, one thing that did stand out, right? There was because we were talking earlier about how this movie's obviously a stoner comedy and there's not really horror elements to it. And I was finding out that the reason why it's because there was a lot of censorship cuts with this movie. There was like a lot of several gore scenes that were toned down or cut altogether to avoid like controversy. Do you think? I mean, I would be curious to really see that, to see like a director's cut of it. Do you think if that was the case, where there is like a director's cut, that that would completely change it to more of a horror movie, or do you think it would still kind of be like that slapstick comedy?
Yeah, I saw in one of the special features how Seth Green was talking about how they were trying to do like three different movies in one. Like they were like one of them wanted to be more horror, the other wanted to be more comedy. They
Yeah,
also took a lot of with the test audience, they took this is why we have a different ending because of the test audience. Um, I think it's fine though. I think it worked out well. I think sometimes these things happen
yeah,
for a reason. Sometimes it could hurt a movie that's that's hard R, like that you're trying to go full horror. If you cut it too much, it could hurt it. But I think a movie like this, it doesn't need more than we've got as far as gore. I don't really think I need any more. It is more of a comedy, and the gore we do get it works and it's funny. There's a lot of scenes that just work and they don't need to be that much more violent. Like even the scene where they towards the end where they're going to the dance and there's this couple dressed up as Kiss and stuff, and there's a
yeah,
funny sexual moment in there where the hand comes in and the girl grabs the boobs and stuff. But the kills of those, they're not very violent. They're just, and I wouldn't want to see any more. Like why? Like I think it works fine. So no, I think it's good as it is. I don't think we need anymore. I think if we get a director's cut, would be more to add more improvising, to add more comedy, and to and maybe to put the original ending, which I know we'll get to later. So I think that would be best.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I think too. I mean, I think it was very tasteful the way they did the cuts for the deaths, because since it's supposed to be a stoner comedy, I feel like showing a little much. Like I know, for the Offspring, for example, when he gets like scalped,
Yeah,
like during that scene, like you do see that. But then with the friend, where she tries to get through like the fan through the vent, and she's kind of hanging there and gets sucked up and stuff, you just see blood everywhere, but you don't actually see her with the mom dying like under the bed, same thing. So I thought it was great. I thought it was very good. I mean, it left it to the imagination, because I mean, God knows that in this day and age, it's very hard to leave anything for the imagination, because everything gets just like fed spoon fed to you or spoiled. um,
yeah,
but one thing too that I was reading was that when this movie came out, it was released like, shortly after the Columbine tragedy. So
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why this movie was kind of buried and super censored, because it was a sensitive time, especially with like violence on TV and all that. I know during this time MTV was getting a lot of scrutiny, especially with like rock bands and all
yeah.
that. They were just kind of trying to blame everybody. They're trying to blame the Matrix. Um,
Right.
so, unfortunately,
Yeah.
it was kind of a casualty during that time. Like, this movie was a casualty during that time.
Yeah, it's a weird time. These things happen. I mean, yeah, it came out 10 days after Columbine. And yeah, I mean, we got it with 9/11 too. There was
Yeah.
a lot of censorship for music on the radio after 9/11. And some of it made sense. You're gonna play Drowning Pool Bodies was popular at the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that just feels a little weird. But I think with this one, I can see them cutting, but this movie is straight comedy. I don't think it has anything malicious in it that would lead anyone to think, "Oh, how can you put this out like right after Columbine?" Obviously, the movie was shot way before. There's nothing there. Yeah, there's some teen violence in a school, so maybe that might be a little bit at the time. But I don't know if they would have made that much more money at the box office. I think this movie was made to be a cult movie. I don't think these the stoners, they want to watch these at home. They don't want to go to the movies. So
Yeah.
it was most of these type of movies don't make big money at the box office. They tend to turn out to be cult hits. Even Dazed and Confused and Half Baked, all those movies didn't really do that well, and they went on to become classics. So
Yeah. I mean, I know for me as a former stoner, like I don't want to be like, I want to be at home, cozy with my snacks and stuff, like watching these type of movies. I don't want to be out in public with a bunch of random people, and then especially too, I mean, obviously it's always been a thing unless you go back in time where you were allowed to like smoke cigarettes in cinemas and stuff. But like if you're gonna watch a stoner comedy and you can't smoke while you're watching it, like with the characters, it kind of kills it a little bit. Um, but dude, and yeah, and one thing I was looking at here too, it's because I mean, back then, like shaping those stoner comedies, especially with MTV and stuff like that, it was just one of those, like it's such a cozy movie. Like you want to stay home and you want to take that in. I know when it came to like the marketing and stuff for this movie, they did try to market it kind of as a stoner movie, but I feel like it didn't help it too much to get it out there because it made people just kind of want to wait to see it at home. Even though obviously it was a little expensive back then because, DVD players and DVDs and stuff were a little pricier. So, to be a stoner and not have too much money and then have to go and spend like 20, $30 for a DVD, you're like, "Oh god."
Nah,
Um,
but you could rent it, and also, I personally even knew people that would just like smoke right before the movie outside the
that's
theater and
true,
stuff
yeah.
like that. And remember when this movie came out, the movie theater was like 4.50, $5, so it wasn't that bad. We used to be able to survive off $20 for the weekend, so
Dude,
um,
yeah,
it was a
man.
whole different time. I think it just has a lot to do with that. It's just these type of movies don't tend to blow up the box office. I don't think they're meant to. I think they know that what they have, and back in the day there wasn't streaming and stuff, so they're like, oh, we'll release it in theaters, try to get a few bucks out of that, and then once it comes out on VHS, DVD, people are gonna rent it, and that's how a lot of these movies made their money. Even
Yeah.
Grandma's Boy was huge on DVD,
Oh,
so
yeah.
and that movie bombed probably worse than this one. So yeah,
Which is
that's
crazy because it's so damn funny, dude. Where he
yeah, but that's how it is, man. I think it makes it even better with that. It's like, oh, everyone discovered it on DVD.
yeah, we all watched it on DVD.
Yeah,
Well,
even I didn't see that one in theaters.
I know I didn't, that's for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I saw that on DVD and and I think I was probably during the time when I saw this, I think that's when I was a pretty big stoner, and I remember, like, watching it and just losing my shit. I was especially when that dude when he's like the robot, he's like a cyborg, and
Oh,
it
yeah, yeah.
it was so damn stupid. But dude, I want to talk about the soundtrack for this movie because obviously you and we grew up with these bands. We have very similar taste in music. I mean, very similar. I mean, almost I would say almost the same type of taste in music. Uh, Dude, how important was this soundtrack to this movie to make it like that, give it that cult legacy that it has? Like in your eyes, like do you think this soundtrack really made the movie a lot better?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was a different time where you would see it a lot in these movies. I mean, it's just seeing the Rob Zombie video playing the whole,
Oh
and it
yeah.
goes on for a while. I always remember that video from this movie, and I mean, obviously, used to watch that video a lot at the time before the movie came out, and having the Offspring there, and even something like the cameo from Blink 182. This guy, it's funny because it was his second cameo in 99. This movie came out, I believe, in maybe June or something, I don't remember, but he also, the whole Blink 182 come out in American Pie.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, so they double cameo. Man, the soundtrack is great, dude. I love it. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. I just love hearing it. It's all these late 90s movies. It was full of all this stuff. Some of it I didn't listen to, but I enjoyed it listening to, like, I like some punk rock, but not that pop punk and stuff like that. But I enjoy hearing it on these movies. It brings back memories and a lot of nostalgia. And I think the soundtrack is great, man. Stands out.
Dude, it's so good, man. I mean, the only thing I don't have it. I've been meaning to get it. It's still a little pricey, dude. It's like $25 on Amazon. But
Wow.
the one thing about it, I know there's like I think like 5 of the key songs in the movie that are missing. Like I know the song where Anton wakes up and he switches from headphones from his stereo system to like his
Oh yeah.
Walkman. So that song's not in there. I know the song where him and Jessica Alba hooking up, it's not in the soundtrack. I think there was I believe it's an Offspring song that I don't think it's in the soundtrack as well.
Well,
And
the Offspring plays the Ramones cover of
yeah,
24. That one, I want to be sedated, which I also saw online that the Ramones were supposed to show up to play that song, and they didn't. So they just had the Offspring do the cover for it, and then the Offspring played one of their originals right after
yeah.
that one. So that's
What
kind of cool too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, they did fantastic. I remember when that song was playing, I was like, "Oh hell yeah, man, this is awesome." But I definitely think that the soundtrack made this movie like that cult classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think these soundtracks really help, man. These 90 ones. Yeah, I feel like these 90s soundtrack they really pop, you know, like we just did an episode of Disturbing Behavior. We talked about the same thing with soundtracks. They really stood out in the you know, in the 80s and the 90s. You know, we grew up on this stuff, you know, like even American Pie movies, this one, you know, I could think of a bunch that you just think back on the soundtracks and they're a lot of fun. So I think yeah, it makes this movie better and it makes it more memorable, especially for us that grew up with it and are nostalgic for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I mean, the soundtracks back then were like nothing else, man. I mean, I like Disturbing Behavior is one of them. I got the soundtrack for Hackers. Uh, Man, I'm
Mm.
trying to think what other ones I've got there because it's again, yeah, like almost every movie during the 90s just had banger soundtracks. I mean, like Forrest Gump, for example. It's a double disc soundtrack. Amazing, amazing.
Oh yeah,
And
a lot of
yeah,
oldies in there too.
yeah, dude, even like the Armageddon soundtrack. It's pretty good. Like it has obviously Aerosmith and a ton of
Yeah,
other bands in
I
there.
bought that one back in the day. I had the Armageddon one and the Godzilla one.
Godzilla, yeah,
Uh,
man.
you know, just a few that you would get along the way. I know we did last summer soundtrack. I have it.
Demon Knight.
Um,
I have the Demon Knight
yeah,
one.
I
That
want to
one's
get the
really good.
Demon Knight. The Crow soundtrack is like super like popular. Like that thing blew up.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, even to go different type of music, but like Whitney Houston, the Bodyguard, that soundtrack was huge. Like
yeah.
it sold like 10 million copies or something. So yeah, soundtracks were much more important. I don't feel like nowadays they're. I mean, obviously scores are important. The score is the you know one of the most important things of every movie. But when it comes to soundtrack and throwing in those tracks, yeah, I'm sure things come up here and there nowadays, but it just doesn't feel um as good as it used to be and as you know people just wanting to go out. Obviously people don't go out and buy music anymore, but you want to stream the soundtrack or something, but you know luckily we still have the scores and stuff like that. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
this it stands out.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think especially for these movies back then, that's the reason they were called classics, man. I mean, when you think about Disturbing Behavior, Demon Knight, Idle Hands, you're thinking about the music as well. You're like, oh man, I remember, the Offspring in that
Yeah.
movie, Blink 182, all these sick bands. I mean, so it's just one of those. It definitely goes hand in hand in creating a cult classic. Now, talking about cult classics and all that stuff, I well, aside, I did want to jump into some fun facts too, because I know you had a few fun facts for the audience, but dude, let's go ahead and move into that section.
Yeah. Well, I have one real quick that it's the gym that the dance takes place in is the same gym that they used in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, the movie from the 90s, not the TV show.
Oh,
So that was like the same gym. And also they filmed in the same neighborhood. I don't know if this is true though. I have to double check this one, but I think I read that they filmed in the same neighborhood that they filmed the original Halloween, like Anton's house, like that area in
yeah.
LA. Supposedly it's just around the same spots that where they filmed the Halloween movies. So that's cool.
I That's interesting because um of all the places to pick, that's interesting that they would pick that, like the Buffy one, and not to mention Vivica's character is kind of like this like Buffy type character. So I wonder if it was like on purpose,
Oh
like for
yeah,
any
with
of those
the
Buffy fans out there, they were kind of like they sprinkled that in there for them.
Yeah, I just want to mention right quick. I know we got way past the characters already, but I forgot to mention Vivica A. Fox. I do feel like she was kind of thrown into the movie. I kind of feel like they were like, oh, we have to figure out a way to kill this Hannah. We'll just have this girl because she barely comes out. She almost feels like a character that didn't need to be there. I do end up liking her little relationship that she has with the other dude, and when they get together to go find Anton. And that's what I like about the other guy too. Like he's like, oh, he's my friend. Like even though he has like this little bit of hatred towards him because he steals his truck and stuff, he still kind of has his back and stuff. So yeah, I just forgot to mention her that I just felt like her character wasn't very well developed, and she's probably the only one. And it's not because of her performance; she was good. It's just that I just didn't feel like we got too much of her.
Yeah, like it's funny too because like the friend that you're talking about, which is like the punk rock guy with the big Ford truck across the street. So originally, when Anton comes outside and he's going over to Seth Green's house, to get some bud. You see this dude working on his truck, and you see him like slide out from underneath it and look at Anton. And at that moment, I thought he was going to be kind of like the typical bully, you
Right.
know. And when you see him, he's like, "Oh, what's up, Anton?" And he's like, "Whoa, nice outfit."
Yeah.
And then he's just being nice to him. I love that dude. I loved his character, how he looks like this like badass, but he's just such a chill dude. And it's funny. He's like, he just cares about his truck. And even when he's giving
Yeah.
the advice through the drive-through, he's like, "Oh, you just got to find a hobby or something. Keep your hand." He's like, "Idle hands are the devil's playground." And
Right,
it's just
right.
like,
Yeah,
dude,
he's always cool with them. He's never like, yeah, that's what you expect, the typical bully and stuff like that. And he's actually
yeah,
always cool. He only gets mad at him when they steal his truck, but other
yeah,
than that, he's like, yeah, he tries to give him some advice, and he's like, oh man, it's just music. He's like, oh, you know about all this devil stuff. He's like, it's just music, man. You just gotta, that's why I work on my truck, and you need to do the same. Find something to keep you
yeah.
busy and stuff.
He's like,
So
it's just
yeah,
like Mozart or Beethoven, but just louder. That's what he says.
yeah,
Dude, I love the scene where Vivica pulls out the sacrificial knife and she's gonna stab Anton, and then you see this dude, which Randy, where you see Randy go, "Oh, don't you think that's a little much, kitten?" And when he says that, like his
oh yeah.
face, dude, that was so damn funny.
Yeah, and I like Seth Green's like when they kill the hand and he's like, "That's it? No flame, no fire, no nothing, just a little psh, and that's it."
Yeah, he's like, no, like there's like
Yeah.
no nothing. But I loved that scene before they kill the hand where he's wearing the puppet. Like
Oh
that
yeah.
was freaking hilarious, dude. Where Anton gets the hand high, and you see the puppet's eyes roll back and they turn like bloodshot. Dude, that was so funny because with the eyebrows and everything that the puppet had, dude, it was hilarious. It was a perfect puppet to choose for that hand.
And Eldon, every time they walked into a class, he's like, and they see something cool, he goes, "Oh, I made that. Oh, I built that." He's trying to say
Yeah.
he built the big bong. He's like, "You don't even take auto shop, man."
Yeah, like when he built supposedly he made the ashtray, and then he's like, yeah,
Right.
when that crazy bong contraption, it looked like a damn freaking like flamethrower, and he's like, oh yeah, I made that too. He's like, you never took shop class. He's like, no, yeah, I did. He's like, I made that. he's like the ashtray. If Seth Green's like the ashtray, I would have believed, but not this,
Yeah.
dude.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, I wanted to get into, do you want to talk about the difference in the two endings? Did you watch the deleted scene with the alternate ending?
Dude, I didn't get a chance, man. So I was kind of hoping.
Oh.
I knew you had seen it, but
Yeah. You want me to go through it real quick?
yeah, go for it.
Okay, so so when they tested this movie, they had an original ending. It takes place in the pool of the school. And basically it's just like they said, like the Jessica Alba's character is and the board where you jump into the pool. They have her there, and the hand is trying to kill him, and it's just a bigger kid. There isn't that much. Um, okay, so the test audience wanted to see more of Jessica Alba, and that's why we got the ending where he's pulling at her, and then she ends up like
In
in
her
her bra
underwear.
and panties. But in the original one, that doesn't happen, and there's a really cool scene where the two zombie friends are walking by the walls, and these hands come out and grab them. That really reminded me of Day of the Dead, and I thought it was like an homage to that. And they're holding them, and basically the girl comes in, Vivica Fox, and they kill her hand. It's not that different. It's just it took place in the pool, and instead of in the auto shop, and then Anton falls down from the pool. It's an empty pool at the time, by the way. And when he falls, it looks like he's gonna fall to hell. But when they kill the hand, it goes away, and then he just lands on the pool and hurts himself. So then it cuts to that scene where they're in the hospital and he's all messed up. So that scene is still there. It's just the only difference was the auto shop to the pool, and that's the only difference. I thought visually the effects weren't done for the deleted scene, but I thought it would have been a better, and I think I would have preferred that over the auto shot part. It would take away that funny moment with the handle and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like 50-50. But I thought they both endings worked pretty well, and you could have either or. I would like to see like a like a if they ever re-release it and they incorporate that ending, that you could kind of just choose to watch the original or the let's call it director's cut with that different ending, and that way you still have both and you can just enjoy both. But But yeah, it was mostly just because they wanted to see a little more of Jessica Alba, so they went with what the audience wanted.
Yeah, that scene was so stupid. He's like, instead of just trying to cut the rope or something, he just freaking pulls off her dress. I was like, dude, what an idiot. But obviously, it makes sense. They're like trying to show her more and everything. Especially
Yeah,
even afterwards, like he's like grabbing her butt and stuff, and they're kissing under the car, and it's like you really see the camera focused on her butt. So it's just
yeah,
funny that's like, yeah, they're back then they were like, you know what, let's just focus on her. Because even you even see her outfits throughout the movie and everything when she's dressed as an angel, with like with the full dress and when she comes out of her house when he first rings her doorbell, she's like in her nighttime clothes and it's just yeah, they were very trying to pull in the audience by showing her off. Which in funny coincidence, right after this movie is when like Jessica Alba really became like a big star like
yeah,
shortly after this. So I think this was one of those films that really got her in front of the public's eye. And obviously with the character she plays, where she's like this very like sexy neighbor and everything, people were seeing her in a different light and they were like, wow, she's gorgeous. Like I want to see her in more stuff. And
yeah. And she said that she had a blast making it, so she had a good experience with it. So that's
yeah,
good.
you could tell too. You could tell that I don't think a single person there had a bad time. You could think I'm pretty sure some of the scenes were hard to get through, just because of how like silly and ridiculous they were. But it's always nice to see that during sets that it wasn't just all like boring and stiff. Especially hearing that a lot of improvisations. Sorry guys,
Yeah,
I can't talk today, man. Like it's been like this since last night. I've just been but anyway, yeah, so, they improvised a lot of stuff, and I think that's what made it even more funnier and loving type of film, so
yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, you could tell there was a chemistry between everybody, and you could tell behind the scenes was fun, and you love to see it because it's like, oh, everyone had a good time, and you get a good movie out of it. So
yeah. And there's a scene where, when she brings, Devon Sawa's character into the house, and they're like starting to make out in the bed, but she's like, "Oh, you're kinky." And he kind of when he ties his hand to the bed and then she
oh
kind of
yeah.
lays on him and she goes and kisses him and you see him kind of smile like smirk, but you could tell that he was trying not to laugh during that particular scene. Like it wasn't kind of like, "Oh, I'm happy this is happening." It was one of those he was trying not to laugh because I guess after her response of saying, "Oh, you're kinky," he was trying to hold it in and then they kiss and you see him almost laugh and then it cuts to like the camera panning. But I thought that was pretty funny. Like I always look forward to that when the actors kind of like break their
Yeah,
character.
that's always funny.
Yeah, man. But dude, do you want to move on to some movie recommendations for listeners or viewers? Or was there anything
Yeah.
you wanted to add as far for like the film that we probably missed?
No, I think we covered it pretty well. Yeah, I definitely had a good time with it, and yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some recommendations, some movies that maybe are not exactly the same, or because you could talk about like we spoke earlier about movies like Shaun of the Dead and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do see like a movie like Jennifer's Body having some vibes for sure. That's another cult movie that has a lot of gore and stuff, and it's with Amanda Seinberg, I believe, and
yeah,
Megan
Megan.
Fox.
Yeah,
So yeah, it has that style. That's one of them, and we already said like Shaun of the Dead and Evil Dead too. So
yeah.
those are movies that you could like kind of if you're into after watching this one, you're in the mood for something a little similar. It's not gonna be the same, but because this one does tend to go way more for the comedy than any of those other ones.
Yeah, that I mean that's true because Jennifer's Body's more, like it's a horror comedy, but it definitely has more of a sexiness to it. Like I know obviously Jessica Alba, they try to make her really sexy in this movie, but it just felt that because of so much of the stoner comedy and everything else going on, it kind of took away from that. But then with Jennifer's Body, yeah, you do have that comedy, cult, horror, gore, sassiness, and one that we've brought up in the last like 3 episodes. It's The Faculty. It's not really a comedy at all, but it's definitely more of like a sci-fi horror teen classic. So it
Yeah,
falls under that like late '90s teen movies. So that's a good one. So if you want to
another
go
good
from
soundtrack.
the soundtrack's another thing that's
Yeah,
phenomenal,
that's a
absolutely
good one.
phenomenal. And then you do have the 1985 Fright Night, which is a horror humor with like a teen flair type of thing. So you could always check that one out. And then obviously, one of the best parody movies out there, Scary Movie, came out a year after Idle Hands, and that one's the one that matches Idle Hands the most, I think, because like it's making fun of horror. It's like it has horror elements, but without the scariness. It's just plain funniness. There's like stoner scenes in it as well.
Yeah.
So if you come off Idle Hands, you're like, I want more of this type of comedy. You could dive right into Scary Movie. You could do Shaun of the Dead, or if you want a little more serious, you could do The Faculty, Jennifer's Body, and then you have Evil Dead 2, Fright Night to kind of top it off. You could just spend a whole day or a whole weekend watching all these. But
Yeah, a lot of
yeah,
good soundtracks in there too, and yeah, I mean, obviously the scary movies you can dive into. There's more than one, and I mean, in my opinion, just I really enjoy one and two. Three's okay, but and we're getting one next year, so you could actually watch this one and go to the theaters and watch the new
there
one
we
next
go.
year.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it does well. I mean, we got the Wayans brothers coming back for it. So
Yeah.
Regina Hall and Ferris are gonna be leading this one. So I mean, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see how it pans out. I mean, there's been a lot of new horror movies since the last time that they made one of these scary movies. So we'll see. We'll see
Hmm.
what they have for us, man. Hopefully it's good. But guys, I mean, if you before we cut off, I do want to bring up our sponsors because especially with these movies that we recommended, if you don't have any of them, you're looking to add them to your collection. You're looking to add Idle Hands, for example. We are sponsored by Valoria Video. So sorry guys for the long pause there. I was just trying to pull it up for you just in case. But yeah, if you guys are interested, check out valoriavideo.com. You get 10% off your order if you use the code Face the Movies 10. And I mean, again, if you're looking for any of these movies, check out their website. You know, they might have a copy or two. You get the Blu-ray or 4K or anything else that you're looking for. They even have some cool merch, t-shirts, hats, and all that cool stuff, stickers and whatnot. So check them out. Helps us out a lot, especially if you use that code, and not to mention save you guys a little bit of money on there. I know we have the Nightmare on Elm Street box set coming out at the end of this month. So if that's something where listening to this episode about this horror comedy, Freddy has his comedic moments throughout the franchise, and it's obviously horror. So if you're looking to buy that 10% could save you 30, 40, even $60 off your order. So just remember, check out Valoria Video, .com and use code Face the Movies 10. But yeah, besides that, I mean, it was fun diving into Idle Hands. I mean, I saw it last year and then I saw it again this week. Um, it's proof that sometimes the laziest people can get into the deadliest situations.
Yeah, and let us know if you think Idle Hands is dumb fun or if it deserves more recognition as a cult horror comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. And watching if you're watching the video, if you're watching this or listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, comment. Let us know if you enjoyed this episode. Let us know your recommendations for any of these type of '90s or late '90s cult classics that we may have missed or not be aware of. And also make sure to check out my channel, Face the Movies, and Lee's channel, Cinema Whiplash, for more movie reviews, breakdowns, fun stuff. Also, you can check us out on Instagram as well. Give us a follow, like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification, whatever it is that cool kids are doing these days.
Yes. And thanks as always for spending your Friday night with us here on Friday Night Fright Night.
That's right. Until next time, guys, keep your lights low, your volume high, and don't let your hands get any bright ideas. Well, guys, we'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.